Welcome back to Danny's Maths Hub, and today we are going to be looking at distant time graphs. Now, distance time graphs are all about explaining a journey, and that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and do today. We're going to go and do a journey, and I'll show you how we map this journey onto a graph. But before we take off on our journey, remember to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Let me know how many people are enjoying these videos and how many people are learning from it just by how many people are subscribing. So again, just hit that subscribe button. It's a massive help. So I'm going to show you our blank graph right now, and we're going to take a trip to the shops. Okay, now the shops are 2 miles away from where we are right now. Okay, so we're going to take a drive to the shops that are 2 miles away. So you'll see along the y-axis, it goes from 0 to 2 because the furthest distance we're going to travel away is 2 miles. And then I've got time along the x-axis, and we'll be tracking our time as we go along. Now the actual line you're going to see appear on our graph is us moving away from this start point. So this very corner of it, 0 minutes, 0 miles, that's us right now. That's me outside my house. We haven't traveled anywhere, no time's passed, so that's us. And as we travel, you'll see the line move further away from the 0 point because we're traveling further away from home, and it's going to be going across the time because time is moving forward as we travel. So let's set off then. Let's drive from my home to the shops. Off we go. So as you can see, the line is progressing nice and slowly. It's a steady rate. We haven't had to stop for anything. We've hit no traffic. We've hit no traffic lights. So we are just continuously traveling at the same speed away from the house. Okay, there's nothing to stop for. So we're continuously going at the same speed, and that line is steadily moving away from where we started, and it's steadily moving the same pace across time because obviously time is continuing at the same rate as well. Now we're currently about halfway to the shops now. So you can see the line is reached 1 mile because we're 1 mile away from the shops. Now what I've just noticed though is that my petrol gauge is pretty low. So we're going to stop off at the petrol station and fill up. So think about what that means. Time is still going to carry on. But once we've stopped at the petrol station, think about what will happen to my distance. I'm not going to tell you just yet what's going to happen. But think about how we'd represent what's happening to my distance whilst we're stopped at this petrol station. So I'm going to pull over here. Whilst they sort my petrol out over here. So look what's currently happening on the graph. We are not moving anywhere. We are currently stationary, but the line is still going across the x-axis. And that's because time is still moving, even though the distance is not. So this petrol station is just over 1 mile away from my house. So we are still only 1 mile away on the graph. But time is still carrying on. It's us that stood still, and time is still progressing. So we've been traveling now for a little bit of time. The fuel is all filled up. So let's get a move on now and let's go to the shops. So now if you watch, as we move away from the petrol station, the line now continues to progress away from my home because we're now moving further away from the home. And we're going to go all the way to the shops now. Okay, and we won't stop again until we get to the shops, and hopefully we'll continue at the same pace. So we're just driving along. You see the line is still moving a long time now and along from the distance because we're moving further away from my house. So here we are then. We've travelled our 2 miles from my house up to the shops. We're now going to go in. We've got to get a few groceries and a few bits of food and drink as well while we're in here, which is actually groceries, so I don't know why I'd say food and drink. And we're going to make sure we spend about 15 minutes in here. So again, we're not now going to travel any further away from our house. So our distance isn't going to increase anymore. It's now going to flat out for 15 minutes while we're in the shop. So we're just going to go grab our groceries and then we'll be right back. So the shopping trip is now over. Okay, you'll see we never actually moved further away from our home. Our distance has stayed the same. So now we're going to head on home. As we get closer to our home, that line's now starting to go down. It's still travelling across the time. Time's still carrying on, but we're now going to slowly start getting closer to our home. So the line's now going to start coming down towards that 0 line because we're getting closer. The distance is no longer getting further away from our starting point. We're getting closer to our starting point. We're going back to that beginning point. So off we go and watch that line. So the plan was to go straight home, but you'll find this whenever you go shopping with your girlfriend, that doesn't tend to go to plan. So we've just had to stop because she needs a Starbucks. And we're back home. So you can see now the distance has gone back down to 0 because we are now back from where we started. So we started, we left, and we come back. And that's usually typical of how it comes up in the GCSE question. They'll start from a home or a central base, travel somewhere, come back, and there'll be a few stops along the way. For instance, when we stop for petrol or the shops or the coffee. And that's it from us today. We've completed our journey, we've mapped our journey onto a graph, and tomorrow we'll look at how we can actually pull some information off this graph and how these questions may come up in a GCSE question. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. There is a worksheet attached below if you want to practice drawing your own distant time graphs and maybe map your own distant time maps. So measure how far away you go from your home, how long you stop, and how far you come back. That's all from me today. Stay safe, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.